Croeso, welcome back, more Britain's Hidden History. We're going to show today, hopefully you've already seen this video, where talk about there's a Whitchurch mound has been destroyed, and it should be there, because it should be there according to our star maps, and you can see all about that, so go and have a look at that one. And I'm rapidly jiggling around between screens now, because I've had some fantastic response. This is a great thing about Britain's Hidden History, is the group, is everybody getting involved. There's no way I can do all this, and I don't do all this. There's lots of people helping. So straight away, Helen Bolton has got in touch, because she found a report about this Troida. Could be the town of Oda, but I'm still thinking it's Troideroo, as in the foot of the mound. So the mound's supposed to be there, and I'll put these links up. You can read. They talk then about the digging and how they report it and what they think it might be. Now, also, the wonderful Ian Tog Jenkins, Tog as he's generally known, he has sent me this, which is fantastic. This is a report of the excavation of what they still call a castle mound, all right? Now, it's very interesting reading, okay? I can't make it full screen. I can't seem to download it. A little bit frustrating, but there we are. We'll do our best, all right? Whoop. Hang on a second. Right, so the parish of Whitchurch today, won't go through the whole thing, it's about 11 pages. Actually, less than that. The parish of Whitchurch, suburb of Cardiff. Right, now in medieval times, it was a manor lying close to the northern boundary, so we can read all about St. Kenneth. Now, the castle mound at Rubina and the Welsh stone castle of the early 13th century, Castle Moor Graig. This is the scandal. I'll do a video on that soon. I'm waiting for the nettles and everything to die down. This is a really important Welsh castle up on the hill above Caerphilly, where they spend millions preserving the Norman one, while the Welsh one just basically is dissolving into... Oh, that's how I move things. Here we go. Then we got the Morganstown one it talks about. So all these mounds we're talking about, here we are. Here's the mound. Terrible pictures. I'm sure they could do better than this, but there you go. So there's the digging. There's the locations we talked about. Now, as you can see, what they're talking about is strategic positions for forts defending the rivers. Except if you look at them, this is like the worst place to defend it. Yes, there is a Fortress Glamorgan. You can see other videos on it. Some of these might well be part of this, but like, you know, here, for example, you can see there's other purposes at play as well. Anyway, let's just skip along for that a second. Right, we're going to look now, right. Okay, so what they're doing now is talking about the area. You can have a good read of this yourself. Now then, this is, it seems right, here we go. Right, to start reading this now, right, there's in 1850 they noted the remains of a circular stone tower on top of the mound, but all traces have disappeared in the 1880s. Right, and what does it say here? Now this, in 1965, the Ministry of Public Buildings and Works were informed of a proposal to remove the mound and to use its site and that of the adjoining house for building purposes, put flats up. This was agreed to, subject to archaeological supervision of its removal. So you go through all this, how they did it, how the company got sort of, well, it didn't slow them down at all, so why not? They let them use mechanical diggers. Right, now, the important bits now. What it does, it describes here the different layers of clay, how it works. And look at this now. They lent out their digger. You can read all about this. They only charge a nominal sum. This is the layers they found. And what's curious is an older mound under an older mound. This is the conclusions they came to, okay? All right, so you can see different layers of turf and clay and all this kind of thing. Right, so if we look at this now. So, right, we're looking at the ancient thing, okay? So what they do, they say they found that there was, that had been expanded over time, there's an ancient one. Now, this obsession, the round barrow must be a burial site, okay? And they're not going to move off that. This is the thing. Because what we're arguing is, there's a position to star mounds to map out a map of the skies above. Nothing to do with burials. Some of them might have been repurposed, like this one might have been. Anyway, let's have a look here. So they found a bowl-shaped mound, the earth, it was 3 feet high, all this kind of stuff. Less marked variations are present in the sections. You can go through all this. There was a turf mound, originally a turf mound, resting. Now, read this, right? You see yourself there. No trace of any features that might have been associated with a burial under the barrow, were found. until a later stage in the work. And we'll see what that is. And it's not evidence of anything, okay? So what you'll find is there's no burial, there's no remains of a body, nothing like that. But hey, all these mounds can only be burial sites. No other possibilities are looked at. The area around and under this stone setting was searched. We searched for an associated burial without result. The natural soil over the whole area being solid and undisturbed. So it's not been robbed out. It's not a grave that's been robbed or disturbed in any way. It just never was a burial mob. Right, they even did a search for a small cylindrical pit for cremation because you used to burn them and you'd only find something much smaller. Again, nothing. But we're not going to give up on it being a burial site. It is possible that an unaccompanied burial lay on the natural soil near the centre of the mound and just vanished without trace. Maybe it's something else. This doesn't seem to be possible, does it? So here's some fascinating drawings. This is the structure of it, the mound within a mound within a mound. Just gets better and better and better. Okay. It's equally possible that the barrow contained a satellite burial. That is one contemporary with the building of the mound, but placed near the perimeter instead of its centre to build this great big mound and then put the body outside it. It's just madness, isn't it? This is what we're up against. This is why it's all so frustrating, okay? So we go through all that. You can read more about the turf layer and all this kind of stuff. It's weathered. They found... this makes me laugh. From it came a small amount of abraded Roman material. There's no way of just knowing it's Roman. It's just some sort of crockery, some sherds, what they call sherds, small pieces of a cooking pot. They're not closely dateable, but hey, they're not Roman. They must be 11th or 12th century because that there makes them Norman. Hundreds and hundreds of years in the meantime, where they just be, or it could be more ancient. It could be pre-Roman. Post-Roman, we still wouldn't reach the Norman era. No. Nothing can be Welsh. Nothing can be Welsh. All right, so let's click on the second. So they've already accepted, right, that if it was a castle, this was done later. There was an ancient mount. It could have been repurposed. Totally agree. Could have been. So let's see the evidence for it being a castle. Right, the uniform heavy boulder clay. I would think it's just the mound being expanded for whatever reasons. There are no tip lines to indicate the method of destruction. It could have been, this could be done at the early stage even. Anyway, let's stick to what they say. Only one feature was associated with the motte. Motte means the moat. A rectangular, flat-bottomed pit. The motte is the mound, for a Motte and Bailey. It's got to be a Norman Motte and Bailey castle, you see. So a substantial iron pan, look at that. Thin hummus, they talk about the soil and everything. But what's curious, okay, we go on to the next bit. That's what it looks like. There must be better photographs than this. I mean, this is, come on, University of Wales. Give a better look, please. But you can see the structure of it. You can see the layers. I like to get the original photographs, if possible. But what it comes to is, a read through that, it is absolutely, frustratingly, there is no evidence of it being a castle. There's none at all. So we've got the prehistoric. No evidence at all of it being a burial. We found some bits and pieces, which we're going to call Roman because, hey, everything's Roman. I should get a t-shirt. Everything's Roman. And then we look at the medieval. Again, it begins soon after the reintroduction of the use of pottery to South Wales by the Anglo-Norman invaders. So Wales is the only country on the whole world that could not make a pot. The Romans, they used pots when the Romans were here. Lost all knowledge how to make them. And then when the Normans would say, oh my God, thank you for the new pots. My pot is 1,000 years old, 600 years old. I'll be desperate for something to put my drink in or eat off. It's mad. It's absolutely mad. And then the ditch was clearly not a moat because you can see it's just not big enough. They didn't even, the soil they dug out, they even filled it back in a bit. So it was, so then we got there and they're trying to place it more medieval, more recent times. Right, here we go. The motte was not a primary feature of the Anglo-Norman occupation before it was built. So before the Normans, there was an occupation which had left a scatter of sherds over the site. I don't think that's any proof of occupation, by the way. It could be anything. This accords well that the mottes were not virtual campaigning works. I mean, what are they on about? There's construction of a large conical mound, which they've already said was an ancient mound, sufficiently consolidated to carry a wooden palisade and tower, would take time and trouble and we're best left until sufficient time and manpower is available for tasks to be done at leisure. The Trioda, despite its situation on the border of still unsubdued Welsh territory, this is certainly done. What they actually say, if you read on, there's no evidence at all of it ever being a castle. Footnotes, it's just great. So I thought I'd share that. It's just give an insight. Read these reports, have a look, check the official line, and you'll be amazed. It's not just straw man arguments by me saying they say ridiculous things. You can read the reports yourself. Anything ancient has to be religious ceremony or burial. Anything slightly more recent has to be Roman, and then we jump to the Normans, and nothing in between can exist, and nothing can ever be Welsh in Wales. Fascinating, isn't it? So hope you enjoyed that. More coming up soon. Got a brilliant one about Tintagel, where Mandy sent me the official information on that one. It's just as bonkers. So, till the next time, don't forget, subscribe and tell your friends. See you soon. Heddwch.